I'm going to start my podcast today. It is 1:34 a.m. Paris Standard Time. It's the 4th of June, 2020. And I had a very nice long conversation with one of my lovely ex-students, and it got me thinking that she was kind of distressed, along with a lot of other people that I know who are distressed about the current situation. Not just the murder of Mr. Floyd, who is, I would say, seemingly massacred by the hands of the police officers in the U.S., and that's kind of not just history yet, but a lot of things that are happening in the world at the moment, including the coronavirus pandemic, economy going to hell, and many other negative things. So I think I'll start my topic about thinking more positive, and this is not going to be some blown out pep talk or to make you feel good. It's just I want to compare two very stark realities that are kind of misleading to us. First of all is our perception. We are constantly fed with negative news and media, so that's one aspect of our reality that is happening. There are things that are negative that are happening in our world, and we cannot forget or discount them immediately. Number two are the positive things that have happened. So I was just thinking about the murder of Floyd, and at the same time the launching of SpaceX, going into space, or two astronauts finally going out there, and it was talked about, but it kind of was drowned out by another movement. And people don't think right now that space travel and things like that are important, but isn't that a positive thing to talk about? Of course, we are also standing up for anti-prejudicism. I mean, the prejudice movements of bigotry, all that is embedded into or institutionalized racism and prejudice and bigotry. Of course, those are things to talk about, but then they're constantly showing the riots. They're constantly showing the video of the poor fellow being choked to death. Imagine how their family feels to watch those videos over and over again, because the networks want the ratings. People will take advantage of tragedy. I just saw this sort of, what do you call it, influencer stepping outside the car, blocking a dude from barricading his store, and then pretending to help him, take a picture, and walks out. People take advantage of so many things. There are good people out there too, and they're doing good things, but there will be other people who come in and take advantage. Remember, the devil doesn't have to do anything. The devil only whispers evil into our hearts, and we do not realize something. If I can be a little more candid about my religion and about my religious philosophy and history, I was talking to my wife about the first sin ever committed. Now, if you have read about Adam and Eve, you read about how they were kicked out of heaven. For some religions, they were kicked out. For some religions, they were sent to the earth as a test. It doesn't matter how you think about it. What came to my mind at that moment was the first sin ever committed. It was not that Adam and Eve ate the apple. It was the sin committed by the devil, Lucifer, Shaitan, Iblis, whatever you want to call him. He was considered the best angel by God. God has said did everything in his power to impress God, but he was arrogant. He refused to obey God's orders. Arrogance was, for me, the first sin committed. And can you believe it? Most of us are affected by our own arrogance, and we don't see it that way. This is the thing I want to talk about, the negative aspect, that people continue to virtue signal other people that you're not doing enough. Don't shame other people that much. If they're not following your trend, educate them. Be nicer to them. Speak to them softly. Explain to them what they're... Don't tell them they did a sin, because that is also arrogance, virtue signaling. Saying, I'm better than you because I followed this procedure. I shared a black screen of black box. No, that's not the idea here. The idea is not to fight fire with fire. The idea is to douse that fire with cold water. If someone doesn't care enough, and you're saying that that's complacency, maybe they don't understand how they're attached to that process or that sort of bigotry by being silent. Maybe they're afraid to speak up because they come from a certain background. We have to give them courage to come to our side. We have to invite them to dialogue by not shouting in their faces. It's okay to get angry, but don't get angry with the wrong people. These people also want to give you their ears and support, even if the support is passive. Remember, we don't have to convert everyone to our side, but we want to have a sympathetic ear. There are good people out there, and good people not taking enough action might just need a little bit of push or support. When we don't need to shout in their faces, and this becomes more of a division. We start fighting each other. We are not each other's enemies. We are each other's friends, brothers and sisters, and we have to see eye to eye. And for that to happen, I truly think create a platform for dialogue. This is where most of the influencers can come in. Social media influencers, even if you have a following of 500 people, you have influence. People followed you for a reason. Maybe it's because they followed you because you're funny or pretty, but then use that. Okay, for once, forget that you are going after followers. Forget once that you have to make an income out of this. Just try to pass on a genuinely beautiful message that we are here to end something, and this could be the moment in our history, in our books, that in our modern society could be a game changer for so many people. Not just the US, even in my country of Pakistan, even in India or China, where racism, prejudices, bigotry is very apparent, and we need to break this down. It's why isn't it happening? It's because we grew up with it and we accepted it, and then we didn't care about it. We became complacent about it. That is the dangerous factor, not the complacency. That the acceptance became dangerous. We accepted it because like, if I'm, this doesn't bother me anymore because I think it's all right. I don't think so. It's a big deal. That's why some white folks even say that. Say, I don't understand how another black person or person of color feels because they didn't experience it, but they feel our pain. They are on our side. They are on everyone's side. They're the side of righteousness, and so stop virtue signaling each other. That's not going to help anyone's cause. Slowly and steadily, people will join your cause. You have to convert one person at a time. Everyone's angry and they're looking for immediate closure. I know it's been a long time coming, but centuries ago, it was the same thing. One kingdom fights another and then claims that God is on their side. Take a look at the holy wars, the crusades, Christian fighting Muslims, and both claimed that God's on their side. I imagine at that point God must have been shaking his head like, you're both my children, why are you fighting each other? What sort of glory are you chasing? Maybe it's political will, maybe people were manipulated and they put God's name on it, and God's like, dude, don't use my name to massacre each other. Similarly, George Floyd, poor guy who passed away, if he's looking down, he probably didn't want people to go into riots. And I'm telling you right now, there are three types of people in this situation. The peaceful protesters who have every right to go out and protest. Then there's another section of people called the rioters. The rioting is also backed by political will, and of course they try to make an impact by destroying property and bringing in anarchism, saying the system has failed. So that's political will. And then comes the people with truly evil intent, the looters. They'll come and burn stuff down and loot whatever is in their, I would say, in front of their eyes, and they don't care about anything. And then the media would highlight the rioters and looters, but not the peaceful protesters. And the peaceful protesters, like, we just wanted a platform. Well, guess what? You guys are the platform for these people. Let them have it for one day, even if it's just for one day. But let people show, even if you're passive about this, even if you don't fully understand this, let people have one day to express their concern, and do not share the pictures of looters and rioters. Don't support that. They are criminals. But the peaceful protesters, they're not. It happened in my country too. There's protests going on, and then someone started breaking stuff, and then they're not part of it. Happened in France too. They were the Gilets jaunes, the yellow vests. They were peacefully protesting in Paris, and all of a sudden rioters and looters started showing up, and they're like, who the hell are these people? They're not part of us. Even the Gilets jaunes protected some police officers and fire people. And they're like, they're not from our segment. Who are these? When they got arrested, most of them found out they're not even coming from the city. They're coming outside. So ladies and gentlemen, don't want to make this longer than it is, but I just want to say, if you can share something positive, and talk to each other with a softer tone. We're not here to fight each other. And for the love of God, or for science, or whatever you believe in, trust me on this. You will not get closure immediately, but at least you started something. You can see it through the end. I'm not asking you to be patient, but I'm telling you to be mature and follow through. I know if you're going to have an opinion about it, you can call me if I'm wrong, if my thinking is incorrect, but don't start a character assassination of people that you talk to. It's like, oh, they're like this or that. I can understand your frustrations. I can understand why you think that way, but we have to step outside of our bubble and let people also engage with it. If you find someone racist, don't call them out for their racism. Call them out for education. Say, I would like to explain my culture to you. I would like to explain how we are also part of this, and you're a part of us too. I would like you to join my side and hear me out and try to make some sort of connection with each other. Not everyone's the same way. They probably do want their minds to change, and they will be stubborn about it. But you gotta keep on at it. You gotta keep going at it. Think about all those revolutions that happened peacefully and made a big difference. There were sacrifices, there were ups and downs, but it can happen. This is the turning point. I personally feel this is like a tipping point for a lot of countries. Okay, but that's just me. I will try to do this more often, and the person responsible for pushing me to do this at almost 1:45 a.m. at night, you have to send me the reminders. And I would like to probably share something, an inspiration from maybe Nas Daily, the 1 minute country thing. I'm going to probably research one African nation, one South Asian nation, or even European nation, and speak about it for a few minutes about what I found fascinating about it. And this is just a start, so I'm not going to say like, click, and subscribe. If you heard this and you like it, great. I have no political will over here. I don't wish bad upon anyone. I just hope everyone gets along. And truly, if you are one of my students or my ex-students, know that you have probably been through the same process that I have, and maybe gotten angry and frustrated. We are human, and it's okay to be human. Learn to forgive each other and yourselves, and be open-minded towards any sort of information coming your way. I don't know what else I can say, but it's been a heavy 2-3 days, very heavy for all of us. Share some good stuff out there. I'm not saying share something like memes or something, but something positive that's coming out of this, the softer side of this, the donations and people stepping out and actually taking action. Share that too. Stop sharing the rioting and looting. They want you to share that. They want to put that sort of label that this movement is, it's pathetic, it's violent, we are barbaric. No, we're not. None of us are. There's just a few bad eggs. Thank you again for listening. I'm signing out.